What if you watched the Harry Potter movies before you read the Harry Potter books and you didn't like the Harry Potter movies? Would you then give the Harry Potter books a chance and actually read them to completion? That's how my experience with Harry Potter actually started. Watching the movies first, and I wasn't a fan of it. I thought that the Harry Potter character came off as a whiny little brat with anger issues. It wasn't until about 22 years later that I actually opened up the book and gave it a shot. And here I'm going to review all 7 books in one review, pointing out the differences between the books and the movies, and basically what I thought about the books. Because you already know my opinion on the movies. I wasn't a fan of them. They weren't bad, but to me, they weren't good. So here we have Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. I'm just going to give a quick synopsis just in case on the off chance someone hasn't read this book, which is very, very unlikely. Most people have read Harry Potter or at least seen the movies. So, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone introduces Harry Potter, an orphan boy who lives a miserable life with his abusive relatives, the Dursleys. On his 11th birthday, I believe, he discovers he's a wizard and is invited to attend the Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. At Hogwarts, Harry makes new friends, Ron Weasley and Hermione Granger, and a rival, Draco Malfoy. During his first year, the trio uncovers a plot to steal the powerful Sorcerer's Stone, or the Philosopher's Stone in the British rendition, forcing them to navigate a series of treacherous obstacles to stop the culprit. So, just going to get into a quick comparison on the book and the movies. Hermione Granger. The book's Hermione is more of a know-it-all, a character trait that Harry and Ron initially find annoying. The film's adaptation very much softens this aspect, making her more likable from the start. Ron Weasley. The book provides a more depth to Ron's insecurities, especially his fear of being overshadowed by his more accomplished older brothers. This context is largely missing from the movie and reducing his character arc and making his eventual jealousy of Harry seem very much less grounded. Harry Potter in the book, his parents are described as having green eyes, a detail important to his backstory. However, the film version uses actor Daniel Radcliffe's natural blue eyes instead. Also, the Harry Potter in the book seems more heroic, whereas the Harry Potter in the movie seems like a whiny little brat that really can't do anything for himself. Dumbledore. The book includes several whimsical one-liners from the headmaster, such as his affection for Muggle lemon drops, which are not present in the movie. Peeves the Poltergeist. This mischievous poltergeist, Peeves, is a recurring nuisance in the book series, but was entirely cut from the film's adaptation. And that's one that I feel would have enhanced the movie tenfold. The Dursleys. The movie significantly condenses Harry's time with his abusive aunt and uncle. In the book, Vernon Dursley attempts to hide the family from Hogwarts. Letters are more elaborate and comical. The Philosopher's Stone challenges. The film simplifies the magical protection for the stone. The book includes an additional challenge, a potions riddle created by Snape, which Hermione, using her logic, solves. The movie also skips the part where the trio encounters the second troll. Yes, there is a second troll. Professor Quirrell's death. The final confrontation differs significantly. In the book, Quirrell dies from the effects of Voldemort's soul leaving his body. The movie, however, portrays Harry killing Quirrell by touching his face. Aftermath and closure. The book offers a more sentimental ending. Hagrid gives Harry a photo album with pictures of his parents, and Harry spends the rest of the summer with the Dursleys after his triumphant return from Hogwarts. So the book is richer. It has a deeper emotional context by including Harry's dream about the Quirrell-Voldemort connection and a broader view of his time at Privet Drive. The book provides deeper emotional and psychological context for Harry's actions and suspicions. The world building. Rowling's prose immerses readers in the whimsical and dangerous world of Hogwarts through details like the Sorting Hat's song. magical classes, and the mischief of characters like Peeves. This richness is partially lost when adapted to the screen. Character motivations, the small details such as Ron's insecurities help explain character motivations in a more complex and satisfying ways, which become important for later books in this series. So in conclusion, while the Sorcerer's Stone movie is a beloved and surprisingly faithful adaptation for its length, it can't capture the complete magic of the book. The book provides a richer, more detailed narrative, fleshing out characters and explaining plot points more thoroughly. For the casual fan, the movie is a delightful introduction to the series, but for a deeper, more rewarding experience, the book remains the definitive source. So now we move on to the Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Probably a lot of people haven't seen this book cover. This is my favorite cover by far. And the book's strengths over the movie, deeper characterization. The book offers a more nuanced look at several characters whose stories were abbreviated in the film. Ginny Weasley's struggle. The book shows Ginny behaving strangely throughout the year, subtly foreshadowing that she is possessed by Tom Riddle's diary. In the film, her distress is largely omitted until the climax. Percy Weasley's secret. The book reveals Percy's secretive girlfriend, Penelope Clearwater, who also gets petrified by the basilisk. This detail is entirely absent in the movie. Gilderoy Lockhart. The book fully develops Lockhart's irritating and narcissistic personality, including his Valentine's Day celebrations and classroom quizzes about himself. In the movie, his role is reduced to a few comedic scenes. Expanding world building. Several entire subplots and characters were cut from the film, offering a more complete picture of the wizarding world in the book. Nearly headless Nick's death day party. Harry, Ron, and Hermione attend a party of ghosts to celebrate the 500th anniversary of Nick's death. The scene, which is both humorous and macabre, is where they first meet Moaning Myrtle in the book. Filch the Squib. The book reveals that Argus Filch is a squib, a non-magical person born to magical parents. When Harry discovers a quick spell beginner's magic course he is taking, this provides a sympathetic dimension to the cantankerous caretaker, which is not included in the film. Just looking over my notes here. A more involved mystery with greater detail. The book allows readers to follow the trio's investigation closely. The origin of the name Mudblood. In the book, Ron explains the offensive term Mudblood to Hermione, who has never heard it before. The film reverses this having Hermione explain it to Harry. Hagrid's backstory. The book reveals that a young Tom Riddle framed Hagrid for opening the Chamber of Secrets, which Ron recognizes from an award. The film omits this detail. The diary twist. In the book, Harry finds that ink has spilled on all his textbooks, but the diary remains clean, motivating him to write in it. This detail was not in the actual film. So now moving on to The Prisoner of Azkaban. This book is praised for its shift toward a more serious and complex tone compared to its predecessors. The introduction of the soul-sucking Dementors and the mysterious Sirius Black ushers in a more mature atmosphere that sets the stage for the rest of the series. Key elements and themes appreciated in this book include the intricate plot. Readers enjoy how seemingly separate subplots, like Hermione's pack schedule, the feud between Crookshanks and Scabbers, and the details of Sirius Black's escape, cleverly weaved together for a stunning climax. Deeper character exploration. The book devotes significant time to establishing new characters, particularly the beloved Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher, Remus Lupin, and the misunderstood Sirius Black. This expanded context adds emotional weight to the ending. Intricate world building. The narrative details are crucial for the deeper backstory of the Marauders to Harry exploration of his parents' legacy, which with characters from their past. The differences from the movie: the film, while visually and tonally distinct from the first two, omits significant character and plot details to streamline the narrative for a shorter runtime. For fans of the book, these omissions can feel substantial. Like Aunt Marge. Harry inflates his cruel Aunt Marge, and she remains inside the Dursleys' home. The Ministry of Magic later deflates her. That's what happens in the book. In the movie adaptation, Marge inflates and floats away into the sky, creating a more slapstick visual scene. The Marauders' backstory in the book. The book provides a detailed explanation of the Marauders, James, Sirius, Lupin, and Peter, and how they became animagi. This information is vital for understanding Peter Pettigrew's betrayal. The movie omits much of this explanation, leaving many viewers unaware of the full significance of the Marauders' map and the group's history. The Firebolt Broomstick. The book description: Harry receives the firebolt for Christmas, causing a major argument between Ron and Hermione over whether Sirius Black sent it as a trap. The firebolt arrives in the movie at the very end of the film, removing the earlier plot point and the conflict between the friends. Ron and Hermione's feud. A long-standing dramatic argument unfolds between Ron and Hermione after Ron's pet rat, Scabbers, goes missing and is presumed eaten by Crookshanks. That's what happens in the book. In the movie downplays this conflict significantly, making their reconciliation less impactful. Pettigrew's reveal. The climactic confrontation in the Shrieking Shack is lengthy, filled with the exposition about how Peter Pettigrew betrayed Harry's parents. After this is established, Harry alone disarms Snape. In the movie rushes the explanation, and Harry, Ron, and Hermione all work together to disarm Snape. Crookshank's role. Hermione's cat, integral to the plot, showing a protective loyalty to Sirius that provides a crucial clue to the identity of Pettigrew. In the movie mostly shows Crookshanks chasing Scabbers, but largely ignores the animosity between the cat knowing Scabbers' true identity. The Dementors' abilities. In the book, the Dementors are not shown to be capable of any flight. In the movie, for added visual drama, the film depicts Dementors flying and swooping dramatically through the air. So, ultimately, both the book and the movie are highly regarded within the Harry Potter canon. The book's deeper dive into the characters' motivations and backstories, though, creates a richer, more detailed narrative that explains plot points more thoroughly. The movie, well, a masterful cinematic work in its own right, because even though I wasn't a fan, millions of people love it. It excels at presenting a darker, more visually compelling story, but must leave many of the book details behind. For those who enjoy a more intricate plot with fleshed out character histories, the book is superior experience, whereas the movie offers a more streamlined and visually dynamic adventure. And next we have The Goblet of Fire. The novel's true strength lies in its world building. Rowling introduces a host of characters and subplots that deepen the story's complexity. The political intrigue. The book features a nuanced and corrupt Ministry of Magic, with characters like Ludo Bagman playing a suspicious role in the Triwizard Tournament and getting entangled with Fred and George's bet. His subplot and dealings with goblins are entirely cut from the film. The House Elf Rights Movement. Hermione's Society for the Promotion of Elfish Warfare, or SPEW, S-P-E-W, is a key subplot exploring themes of injustice and activism. The film omits SPEW entirely, along with the house elf Winky, who plays a critical role related to Barty Crouch Jr.'s backstory. A more menacing threat. The book's start is far more effective at establishing the return of Lord Voldemort. It begins with the murder of the Riddle family, showing Voldemort's evil directly before Harry's arrival at the Burrow. This creates a sense of dread, and that is largely missing from the movie's opening dream sequence. So the movie kind of is a focused but simplified spectacle in its effort to condense a massive book into a 2.5 hour film. The adaptation sacrifices much of its original depth. And they do this for a streamlined plot and action set pieces. So to cut down on the screen time, the movie removes the Quidditch World Cup entirely, and skips over the extended summer with the Dursleys and the Weasleys. This makes the plot feel rushed and removes valuable character moments. Dumbledore's fiery personality, it's a widely noted change story that Dumbledore's demeanor in the movies. In the book, he calmly asks Harry if he put his name in the Goblet of Fire. The movie features a much more aggressive and intense Dumbledore, an alteration that irked many book fans. The altered character interactions. The film's need for efficiency forces characters to fulfill different roles. For instance, the second task, Neville Longbottom provides Harry with gillyweed, whereas in the book, the house elf Dobby performs this vital function. This change, along with the removal of Rita Skeeter's Beetle Animagus form, simplifies the key plot points. And it's a less nuanced Triwizard Tournament. The cinematic challenges are simplified for visual effect. The first task, Dragon's Chase, is a more thrilling action sequence than the strategic flying in the book. For the third task, the complex maze is stripped from its various magical creatures like blast-ended Scroots and a Sphinx. So my initial verdict is the book is essential, the movie is just entertainment. The film version of The Goblet of Fire is a dark, entertaining fantasy film in its own right, successfully capturing the series shift towards a more mature themes. However, it functions best as an accompanying piece to the book. The novel is a superior experience, offering a much detailed and more rich narrative than that of the cinematic version, it simply lacks the time to explore. While the movie delivers on the spectacle, the book delivers on the soul, providing a more complete and emotionally resonant journey for Harry as he confronts the return of his greatest enemy. For the true magic and depth of the story, the book is the definitive experience. And then there was The Order of the Phoenix. And for fans who have seen the film, Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix is a compelling story of a moody teenager and his friends fighting back against the oppressive authority figure. The book, however, is a richer, more complex experience. As the longest novel in the series, the film was forced to condense and cut many subplots. And they did this to fit its initial runtime, resulting in a different, more superficial narrative. The emotional weight of Harry's struggles and the political paranoia gripping the wizarding world are significantly diluted, sacrificing depth for pacing. So the political paranoia and Harry's isolation. In the movie, Harry's anger and isolation are shown, but the reasons behind them are glossed over. Initially making me believe that he's just a moody little teenager, a little brat that can't do anything for himself. The film offers a more compressed view of his anger, which stems primarily from his frustration with the Ministry and Umbridge. The book, J.K. Rowling spends pages detailing Harry's crushing isolation and anger over the summer. Dumbledore deliberately keeps Harry in the dark to protect him, while Ron and Hermione's silence further fuel his resentment. The wizarding government's propaganda, led by Minister Cornelius Fudge, paints both Harry and Dumbledore as liars, leading to an atmosphere of widespread public denial and mistrust that deeply affect Harry psychologically. So, Dobby, the Room of Requirement, and Dumbledore's Army. The house elf Dobby is cut from the fifth film entirely. Instead, Neville Longbottom discovers the Room of Requirement, which the students use for Dumbledore's Army's meetings. The book, it's actually Dobby who, ever loyal to Harry, informs him of the Room of Requirement and how to access it. His resourcefulness is a quick part of the group's ability to train in secret. The betrayal of the Dumbledore's Army. In the film, Cho Chang is presented as the one who betrays Dumbledore's army, albeit under the influence of Veritaserum, I believe it was called, creating an awkward breakup for her and Harry. So the book, The Informant, is Cho's friend, not Cho, Marietta Edgecombe. Marietta reveals the group's existence to Umbridge, but a hex placed on the sign-up parchment by Hermione causes the word sneak to appear on her face. This detail shifts the blame from Cho and avoids unnecessary conflict. So Neville's parents at St. Mungo's. In the movie, Neville's tragic backstory, his parents, Frank and Alice Longbottom, were tortured into insanity by Death Eaters, is only briefly mentioned. And if you can hear my daughter, yes, my daughter talks a lot. She's very loud. She's 3 years old, and I do apologize. So in the book, Harry, Ron, and Hermione visit Arthur Weasley at St. Mungo's Hospital for Magical Maladies and Injuries, where they encounter Neville visiting his parents. This scene is a powerful moment that develops Neville's character and strengthens Harry's empathy for his friend. Snape's worst enemy. What I noticed in this is Harry's glimpse into Snape's pensieve is much shorter. It focuses on James and Sirius bullying Snape, with James as the main aggressor. The book, the memory is more detailed, providing a fuller picture of the complex relationships between Snape, Lily Evans, James Potter, and Sirius Black. It includes the moment a young Snape cruelly calls Lily a mudblood, which helps explain the origins of their falling out. So in the movie, the Battle of the Ministry of Magic is streamlined. The trio and their friends go directly to the Hall of Prophecies and have a shorter, more condensed fight with the Death Eaters. And in the actual book, however, Harry and his friends must navigate a bewildering series of rooms in the Department of Mysteries, from a chamber with floating brains to one with floating planets, before reaching the prophecies. The struggle is longer and takes a greater physical and emotional toll on the young ones. In the movie, Harry is shown as a sad and defeated after Sirius's death, but his breakdown is minimal. In the book, Harry's grief, guilt, and anger over Sirius's death finally boil over in a destructive tantrum in Dumbledore's office. This raw emotional climax is crucial to his character development, and it allows him to process his trauma. Dumbledore remains calm, allowing Harry the space to release his pain. Other notable omissions are Quidditch. All Quidditch scenes were cut from the film. This includes Ron becoming a keeper and being tormented by the song "Weasley is Our King," a storyline that explores his insecurities and ultimate victory. Percy Weasley, the story involving Percy's estrangement from his family and his allegiance to the Ministry, is completely removed. Kreacher's deception. The film removes the crucial detail that Kreacher, the Black family's house elf, knowingly gives Harry false information, contributing to Sirius's death. The prophecy details. The film leaves out important context for the prophecy, such as its full wording and the detail that it could have referred to either Harry or Neville. So, while the Order of the Phoenix film captures the central plot, it fails to deliver the deep emotional and psychological struggles of the book. By necessity, it strips away many subplots and character moments, and these are vital to Harry's journey and his relationships. The book is a slower burn, but it allows for a more profound and immersive experience, fully exploring the griefs and themes of rebellion and the burden of his destiny. So now we have The Half-Blood Prince, which is a pivotal installment in the series, delving into Voldemort's past and the nature of his immortality. While the film captures the emotional weight and key plot points of his dark and character-driven story, it makes several significant narrative and tonal changes, including the intricate backstory and shifting the focus. The movie becomes a more fast-paced gothic thriller, but loses much of the rich detail that actually defines the book. Voldemort's backstory. The film actually omits almost all the pensieve memories detailing Voldemort's family and his rise to power. It removes crucial information about his gaunt family background, his mother Merope, and his Muggle father, Tom Riddle Sr.
By condensing this into only two flashback scenes, the movie loses much of the context for Voldemort's hatred and his inability to love. The book features a more nuanced and gradual development of the relationships between Harry and Ginny and between Ron and Hermione. Ginny, in particular, is a more bold, and outspoken character in the book, rather than a more subdued version in the film. The film also omits the extensive romantic drama, including the awkwardness of Harry and Ginny's growing feelings, and the full extent of Ron and Lavender Brown's relationship. The book describes the Inferi, Voldemort's army of reanimated corpses, in far more terrifying detail than the film. It also omits Dumbledore's powerful Ring of Fire spell, leaving Harry to contend with the Inferi rather than protecting a weakened Dumbledore. The film also has Dumbledore restore Slughorn's hideaway with a single powerful spell, whereas in the book it was a more collaborative effort. The film largely omits the political climate of the wizarding world. The book opens the Muggle Prime Minister receiving a briefing from the Minister of Magic, emphasizing the growing threat of Voldemort. The film removes this scene entirely and instead begins with a more dramatic action involving a bridge being destroyed. So the movie's tone is notably darker and more gothic than the books. It opens with dramatic visuals of Death Eaters causing havoc in the muggling world, which heightens the sense of danger. However, the movie it heavily focuses on teen romance and drama, and it can feel at odds with its darker tone, particularly in the run-up to the climax. The movie trades in-depth character exploration for a more visually compelling and action-oriented narrative. The climactic battle at Hogwarts, which is a major confrontation involving the Order of the Phoenix and Dumbledore's army in the book, is dramatically scaled back in the film. Instead, the film focuses more on the personal duel between Harry and Snape. There's key missing pieces. Many details that enrich the book's narrative are either removed or simplified in the movie. This includes the reasons for Fred and George Weasley's joke shop funding, the background of creatures, the house elf, and the curse of the defense against the dark arts position. The book provides a richer, more detailed narrative, while the film keeps the plot moving at a faster pace. So the film's adaptation of Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince is a competent and entertaining movie, but it fails to capture the full scope and depth of the source material. While the visuals are impressive and the main story arc remains intact, the film sacrifices world building and character development for a more simplified and action-oriented experience. For fans who have read the book, the missing details and altered tone can be jarring. However, as a standalone cinematic work, it effectively sets the stage for the final act of the story. And here we are, the final book in the Harry Potter series. So J.K. Rowling's book offers a complete and complex version of the final chapter to the movies. Even split in two simply couldn't include. The richness of the narrative comes from a few key areas: the expanded character arcs, more thoroughly explanations of vital lore, and the full, unsparing emotional impact of the journey. For readers, the final adventure feels longer, more challenging, and more desperate, giving greater weight to the trio's ultimate triumph. So the Dursleys' farewell. The book includes a pivotal scene where Harry and Dudley Dursley exchange a moment of mutual understanding before parting ways for the final time. Dudley acknowledges Harry's positive influence, and though brief, it serves as a meaningful step in Dudley's development and humanizing moment for a previously awful family. This scene was cut from the family. This scene was cut from the film. Lupin and Tonk's full story. The book devotes more time to Remus Lupin and Nymphadora Tonks and the relationship and the birth of their son, Teddy. An argument with Harry at Grimmauld Place, where Lupin tries to abandon his family out of fear, is also featured in the book. Harry's fury at Lupin for his decision helps define Harry's eventual role as Teddy's godfather, a meaningful connection that the films largely omit. So, the full Dumbledore backstory, the book details Albus Dumbledore and his complex past, including his relationship with Gellert Grindelwald and his family's history. This material, which adds morally gray shades to the mentor figure, is extensively explored through conversations with Aberforth and Rita Skeeter's biography. The films condense or cut much of this to maintain Dumbledore's more saintly image. So, the death of Peter Pettigrew. In the book, Peter Pettigrew meets his end when the silver hand Voldemort gave him turns on as a punishment for a moment of hesitation. This poetic death deserves a consequence for his lingering humanity, which is absent in the film, where Harry and Ron only disarm him during the escape from Malfoy Manor. So, Harry's cleverness and the Horcrux hunt. The movies sometimes give Harry's aha moment to other characters, such as Hermione. In the book, Harry is more proactive in his role, like using the basilisk fang in the Chamber of Secrets or remembering where the diadem is hidden in the Room of Requirement. In the movies, Luna Lovegood and others often provide crucial information instead. So, the character deaths and the final battle. The book's portrayal of Fred Weasley's and other casualties is more intimate and devastating. In the film, their deaths occur off-screen, and the aftermath is seen after the fighting has ended. The final duel between Harry and Voldemort also differs significantly. The book, the duel occurs in the Great Hall. It's witnessed by everybody. Voldemort falls like a mortal man when his own curse rebounds, proving that despite all his efforts, he was just human. In the movie, the battle becomes an airborne chase through the castle grounds, and Voldemort disintegrates into dust upon his death. So the Elder Wand. In the book, Harry uses the Elder Wand to repair his broken wand before returning it to Dumbledore's tomb, where its power would die with him. In the movie, Harry simply snaps the wand and throws it off a bridge. The change diminishes the significance of Harry's own wand, which was a deeply personal object for him. The film shows Voldemort reacting violently each time a Horcrux was destroyed. In the book, he remains ignorant of all of their destruction until the very end, which explains his continued overconfidence. In conclusion, ultimately the book offers a more nuanced, character-driven, and emotionally layered conclusion to the saga. The film, while visually spectacular, were forced to streamline and alter elements for pacing and dramatic effect. For a true immersion into the high-stakes emotional journey of the final year, the novel remains the definitive experience. So if you notice that I paused in the review of the Deathly Hallows, that's because my computer was doing something very weird while I was reading off my notes. But there you have it, book reviews of Harry Potter from book 1 all the way to book 7. And I pointed out as many inconsistencies between the movie and the book that I possibly could. If you did notice that I left anything out that the books had in there that the movies did, or vice versa, just put down in the comments what I might have missed. If I got anything wrong, which can happen, it's 7 books and I am human, and I'm trying to do a review of all 7 books, which obviously I would have read quite some time ago. Just put down in the comments if I did get anything wrong. But yeah, just hit like, subscribe, and comment down below. I will respond to every single comment, and I'll see you on the next one.